You know that feeling when you're tracking a package and the delivery date just suddenly jumps forward by a week with zero explanation? Well, you've just had a tiny peek into the wild, chaotic world of freight logistics. It's this massive, incredibly complex system that our entire economy runs on. And today, we're going to look at how AI is finally bringing some serious order and control to all that chaos.
This quote, it just nails it, doesn't it? Anyone who's ever been near a supply chain knows this feeling in their bones. The real stress isn't that a shipment gets delayed. Problems happen, right? The killer is finding out when it's already too late to do anything about it. It's that constant, nagging feeling of always being on the back foot.
So here's our game plan. We're going to start by really digging into what we call the visibility problem. Then we'll look at the solution, this thing called the AI control tower, and we'll pop the hood to see how it works. After that, we'll see what it looks like in the real world, check out the impact it has, and then take a little peek into the future.
All right, first up, the visibility problem. I mean, it's a crazy paradox for our times, isn't it? You can track a $15 pizza to your front door minute by minute, but a shipping container with $1 million worth of product inside, just trying to find out where it is and when it will actually show up, well, that's still a huge, huge headache.
And it's not just one single issue. It's more like a perfect storm of problems that all feed into each other. You've got fragmented data, high latency, meaning that real-time update is already old news. You've got these huge blind spots where a shipment just disappears off the map for a few days. And when something does go wrong, it's an all-hands-on-deck manual fire drill because the data you have gives you zero context about what's actually happening. It's just a recipe for chaos.
And here's where all that chaos comes from. Look at this mess. A single shipment gets its data chopped up and scattered across all these different systems that refuse to talk to each other. The TMS has no idea what the WMS is doing, and the carrier's own portal is often its own little world. You know what ends up being the glue holding this all together? Spreadsheets, and a never-ending chain of emails and WhatsApp messages. It's madness. Okay, so if the problem is a dozen different systems giving each other the silent treatment, then the solution has to be a universal translator and a command center all rolled into one. And that brings us to the AI control tower. It's a concept designed to create that one single source of truth that everybody in the supply chain is so desperate for.
So what is a logistics control tower? At its heart, it's basically a mission control for all your shipments. It's a central hub that gives you a single screen to see everything that's moving everywhere. But it's more than just a fancy dashboard. It gives you the tools to actually do something when you spot a problem.
But here's the big shift. This is the real game changer. The old traditional control towers, they were reactive. They were basically just a glorified report card, telling you about a delay long after it had already messed up your entire plan. The new AI-powered tower is predictive. It doesn't just report the past, it anticipates the future and prescribes a solution. It's the difference between being a firefighter and actually preventing the fire from starting in the first place.
Now, predicting the future sounds a lot like magic. I know, but it's not. It's all about a very smart, very logical process. So how does the AI engine behind all this actually pull it off? Let's pop the hood and take a look.
It all comes down to this really powerful 5-step loop. First, it ingests all that messy data from all those different sources. Then, and this is crucial, it standardizes it, cleans it up so everything is speaking the same language. Third, it starts recognizing patterns. It learns what a normal trip looks like so it can instantly spot the first sign of trouble. Fourth, and this is the magic right here, is decision intelligence. It doesn't just wave a red flag, it suggests exactly what you should do about it. And finally, the system is always learning, continuously improving from every single decision, getting smarter with every shipment.
Okay, that all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually change for the person who's in the trenches managing this stuff every day? Let's walk through a day in the life to see how this technology completely transforms their job. So let's follow Priya. The old way, she wakes up at 7:30 and her inbox is already on fire with 96 emails about containers that are already late. The new way? She wakes up to a single, calm alert on her phone. Hey, 12 containers are at risk of a delay, and here's why. By 9 a.m., instead of her team frantically calling carriers, the AI has already analyzed the situation and suggests a solution: move 5 of the most critical orders to a different rail route to avoid the bottleneck. By noon,
Finance isn't calling in a panic. They've already gotten an automated cost update, and by the end of the day, the distribution center isn't guessing when trucks will arrive. They're planning their staff shifts with confidence based on accurate ETAs. Her entire day shifts from chaos to calm control. That kind of change doesn't just feel better for the team, it produces real, measurable results. So let's look at the kind of numbers you can take straight to the boardroom to show this is working. Let's start with the big one, on-time delivery. This is the ultimate promise you make to your customers. Before, maybe you're hitting it 82% of the time, which sounds okay, but it's not great. After, a jump to 97%. That is a massive, massive leap in reliability and trust.
And what about the direct hit to the bottom line? A 72% reduction in detention and demurrage fees. These are basically the super expensive late fees you get charged when your containers are just sitting around at a port not moving. Wiping out nearly 3/4 of that cost, that's just stopping money from pouring out the door. Of course, happy customers are the real prize. With this new proactive approach, teams are seeing a 65% drop in customer complaints. It's the difference between calling a customer to say, "Sorry, your stuff is late," and calling them to say, "Hey, we saw a potential issue, we already fixed it, and here's the new confirmed arrival time." It's a totally different conversation.
All of this also makes your whole operation way more efficient. A 40% drop in the average time things are just sitting around? That means your assets, your trucks, your containers, they're all moving and generating value, not just parked and costing you money.
And when you put it all together on one page, the results after just 6 months are pretty stunning. You go from 8 manual emergency calls per shipment down to just 2, costs just plummet, dwell time gets slashed, you even reduce carbon emissions because of smarter routing, and maybe the biggest one of all, revenue at risk from late deliveries gets cut by 60%. You're not just improving one little thing, you're making the entire business healthier.
So if this is what happens when AI helps humans make better decisions, where does this all go from here? Well, the next logical step, the next frontier, is the autonomous supply chain. So just take a second and imagine this. A system that doesn't just suggest a fix, but actually executes it. It automatically switches carriers to get around a delay. It proactively sends alerts to customers with new options. It's constantly balancing speed, cost, and even carbon emissions in real time. This isn't just about giving people advice anymore. It's about automating the decision itself.
And I want to end on this one thought. This vision of a supply chain that can literally heal itself, one that can sense a problem, predict what's going to happen, and adapt on its own, this is no longer science fiction. It's quickly moving from a cool idea to a fact on the ground, finally turning the age-old chaos of freight into a truly intelligent, controllable system.